Let's talk about rice. I mean, it's the grain that feeds more than half of the entire world's population. But the ancient way of farming it, well, that's in the middle of a massive, high-tech revolution. We're going to take a look at the incredible journey from a traditional paddy field to the data-driven farm of the future. So that brings us to the big question we're tackling today. How exactly do you take thousands of years of farming tradition and infuse it with the latest cutting-edge technology? Well, the answer is pretty amazing. It involves transforming every single step of the process. Here's how we'll break it down. First, we'll look at the pressures that are forcing this change. Then we'll see how a modern farm is built from the ground up, manage its growth with incredible precision, see how data supercharges the harvest, and finally, we'll peek into the smart future where biotech and big data come together. So why all the fuss? Why this dramatic change right now? Well, it's because rice farming is facing what you could call a perfect storm of new challenges, and the old ways just aren't cutting it anymore. Think about it. Farmers today are dealing with way fewer workers, the weather is getting more and more unpredictable thanks to climate change, and there's this intense market pressure to produce more but for less. We need higher yields, sure, but we also need to be way more sustainable. And the only way to really solve that puzzle is with technology. Okay, so if you're going to build a modern farm, where do you start? You might be surprised to hear that it's not with the seed, but with the soil itself. A smart farm, it turns out, needs a really smart foundation. The first big leap forward is all about precision. So gone are the days of uneven fields plowed by animals. Today, we've got tractors guided by lasers that create a perfectly flat, uniform surface. And this isn't just about making it look nice. It means that water and nutrients get spread out perfectly evenly. Nothing gets wasted. And that precision mindset continues right on into planting. Instead of really tough, back-breaking manual labor, we now have GPS-guided machines that put every single seedling in its exact optimal position. This makes sure that every plant has the perfect amount of space to grow, which maximizes the yield from every square inch of the field. All right, so the foundation is set, the seedlings are planted, now we enter the growth cycle. And this is where the farm really starts to feel alive with data. It's a huge shift from just reacting to your gut feeling to precisely managing everything. You know that iconic image of a rice paddy, right? A totally flooded field? Well, it turns out that method uses a ton of water. Modern systems are so much smarter. They use automated techniques that give the crop exactly what it needs, when it needs it, and not a single drop more. And the impact is just staggering. These new irrigation methods can cut water use by 30 to 50%. Just let that sink in for a second. In a world that's facing serious water scarcity, that's an absolute game changer. So how is that even possible? A lot of it comes down to techniques like alternate wetting and drying, or AWD. The idea is simple. Instead of keeping the field flooded constantly, the system lets it dry out for a little while before re-irrigating. It's a small change in process that saves massive amounts of water and, funny enough, can even make the crops healthier. The same kind of precision applies to nutrients. The old way was just a one-size-fits-all approach. You just spread fertilizer everywhere. The modern way, though, is more like targeted medicine. GIS mapping analyzes the soil so fertilizer only gets applied in the specific spots that actually need it. That saves money, and it's way better for the environment. And what about pests and disease? Instead of just routine spraying, drones now basically act as the farm's eyes in the sky. They use special sensors to monitor crop health in real time. This lets predictive software spot a potential problem before it even happens, which means you can have a really targeted surgical response instead of spraying everything. So the crop is now fully grown, managed with this incredible level of precision. But technology's job isn't done yet. The harvest, and everything that comes after, is just as data-driven. What used to take dozens of workers, days of incredibly hard labor with sickles, well, that can now be done by a single machine in just a fraction of the time. The combine harvester automates everything, cutting, threshing, and cleaning, all in one go. It drastically reduces labor costs and means less grain gets lost. Okay, once the grain is actually harvested, keeping it high quality is the top priority. So instead of just drying it out in the open air, where it's vulnerable to weather and pests, the rice goes into automated dryers and then into climate-controlled storage. This makes sure that the harvest you worked so hard to grow reaches the market in perfect condition. So far, we've seen some incredible hardware and software, but the final frontier here is actually rewriting the genetic code of the rice itself. This is where the farm becomes a true fusion of biology and technology. Using really powerful gene editing tools like CRISPR, you can think of it like a biological search and replace function. Scientists are developing new rice varieties that are just fundamentally better. We're talking about rice that is naturally resistant to drought and disease, that grows faster and produces more, all while needing fewer resources like water and fertilizer. It's pretty incredible. Now, the ultimate goal is to connect all of these different pieces into one intelligent network. And that's what an integrated smart agri-system is. It's the brain of the farm. It's a central hub that pulls in data from drones, soil sensors, and GPS machines to help the farmer optimize every single decision. The result of all this is a powerful loop of continuous improvement. You plan your season based on data, you execute that plan with precision tech, you check the results with sensors, and then you act on that new data to make the next cycle even better. It's this constant evolution, season after season. So let's just zoom out for a second and look at the full picture, from preparing the land all the way down to the very seeds themselves. The difference is just night and day. At every single stage, we've moved from manual, often imprecise methods to automated, data-driven technologies that save water, reduce waste, and ultimately boost yields. And this is really why all of this matters so much. This isn't just about cool tech for the sake of cool tech. It's about creating a system of food production that is more efficient for farmers, more profitable for economies, and fundamentally more sustainable for our planet. And it leaves us with a really fascinating final thought. As tractors start to drive themselves and drones analyze the fields, the skills you need to be a farmer are changing profoundly. The question for the next generation isn't just about understanding soil anymore. It's also about understanding data,